The camera. There's the camera.
Yeah.
I was trying to pull, but I don't know if they're affixed, but they weren't giving to try and go for our nice flying V.
Oh, yeah.
So is recording?
Alright, can you push the blinking red button on the one down there?
Whoa. What's up with this?
This is required for me to have a toy of the Fantasy period, so I didn't give one.
We didn't get told that we have.
Is this for prizes or?
That's some of our prizes.
You had about 20 minutes in the deal. Well, no, I'm saying yesterday. You had about 20 minutes in the deal.
Everyone's phone turned off?
Yeah, it's the neat.
Probably.
I haven't opened it yet. I opened it. Stick it in this. Stick your fingers across. That's awesome. And then I was like, okay, fine. So it doesn't do the tangle.
So this is going to include just general podcast and Q&A too?
Yep.
I'll
get the dock open in just a sec.
I think over 42,000 views on our show. There are few. We're just watching the
Okay. So none of my stream archives seem to actually be saving, which is a bummer, but
on YouTube?
Yeah. Something weird. It's something to do with the connectivity, because this always ends up spiraling out. But then everyone here says they're seeing the whole thing.
Right.
But it means that YouTube's end isn't finishing, basically.
That sucks.
I'll double check.
We've been using Exploit, which is Windows only. It also has an option to save a local copy.
I could do that with OBS. Oh no, the fan media panel did save. Okay, so maybe this one will save. We'll see. We're not showing the stream to the audience, no. They don't have a line to run up here.
Daryl's going to have to...
You guys will just be here. You're just going to be mine, basically. All mine.
For our guests.
So you're going to share with them.
Alright, so what mic is this?
That is mine.
Okay. Just this down here.
You might want to hold it.
Okay.
If you want the stand, I can hold it. Hold this one.
We'll figure it out.
If you were gonna the first half when
I don't know if Evan's up for it or not. Like, he hasn't mentioned it. So he might be busy the whole time.
Oh, you got one already? Yeah, I apologize. I'll take a second.
Actually, would you be able to trade him? Because I might need my hands free for something. I ambulate. Way too much. Dunk shirt. What? I'm helping. Oh, you guys filled the box?
Yep. Somewhat.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be doing this. The raffle draw will be at the end.
The end?
Yeah, we're making people stick around. Actually, it's not necessarily at the end, but it's in my schedule somewhere.
The first end.
It's like a Marvel movie. You have to hang around for like 45
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
let's get the dog.
The post-credit scene.
Patience.
No, it's just this.
Okay, so the gift. Do you want to give me a best? I have just working and a whole movie.
Okay. I want to do it here instead of this mysterious one.
That is very quiet.
Or how about right after this, right before big bets? Yeah, sure. Okay.
So,
Watch as I pour water around all these electronics.
Alright. Oh, I want one.
Perfect.
This is the safest thing to have.
I totally like it.
Oh, a done that. Better there than on here.
Oh yeah. I'm glad I decided to lean back.
Yeah, I've actually
It's the same thing. He just does acetone vapor. I don't know what I call hyper.
So this is the first mystery fun here.
Yep, and the second
What do you call Grimlock? I don't know. What do you call Grimlock? You're saying something perverted, and I just can't answer because my brain isn't functioning right now.
Hi, they sold out of Calidus's.
Huh? I don't know. I don't know. Something about my Grimlock's name was something. I don't know. Like I said, he was going somewhere perverted in my brain.
Bork!
I don't know contact.
Okay.
I think he said that's like 18 hours of
I think they're making comments
acetone vapor bath.
that are inappropriate. Then it's likely going over her head. And then she's trying to repeat, and it's going even over our heads. We don't even have to go to our heads.
No, so no. The way that works is
Just testing something.
put acetone in the
Is that another might be
you heat the bowl up so the vapor
I said we
because you drop vapor.
Nick wrote
That's why I was like so happy.
Andy had been sent me a message for asking what time the panel was to watch it.
Yeah.
And I just told me to sit down with Nick and send a picture of him.
His
And
to make stuff
Right here.
that should be played. And he added to like 5-ton scale.
They're very genetic partners.
Good job.
how'd we
Trim them. Then we look
Baby, yeah. Yes. Yep. Hi. Hello.
Are we live? We're live.
You good? We record? That's now. All right. All right, everyone. The way that podcasting works is we the editors, that being the two of us, always need like that little second of silence before we actually start, so it all sounds like it's natural and professional. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast roundtable panel for the end of TFcon Toronto 2017. My name is Chris. My internet name is Evangelist, and I host WTF at TFW with the guy over there in the white shirt called Aaron.
Hi.
His internet name is still Axsmith, whether he likes it or not.
It's unique.
And joining me to my left is Jeremy from Transmissions, their head tech guy.
Sure.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
And also joining us from Transmissions, we've got Charles.
Hello, internet name Big C. Apparently everyone knows that now.
And Daryl.
Who's on his phone?
On his BlackBerry.
Wait,
BlackBerry.
I know we went through this once before, but I swear, really?
Yeah. That's amazing.
He's lost all respect because we just figured all Canadians
It's a BlackBerry
have
Grid,
Blackberries, but
and it's a slider phone with a keyboard. It's amazing.
Brought to you by Value Village.
there's
Someone in the
who
audience
listens.
just said brought to you by Value Village. I'm just saying that for the sake of the recording.
That's a Transmissions in-joke, TM.
How do you type a
You keep
TM?
that one. We won't steal that.
If you haven't got any stickers, see us after the show.
No, we can't get a video feed running, and this way you get to look at all of us while you're looking at us.
Yeah. And then we can look at us looking at.
We're recording some of this too, so we can get Fancy Pants Media archives up, because we're totally going to get that up in a timely manner.
As you always do.
That's right. I'm not going to lose the footage this time. Before we begin, who was here for the Friday podcast panel? Who was not here for the Friday podcast panel? Okay, everyone who was here, shut up. All right. We're going to play a little greeting from another podcast who couldn't make it called Moonbase 2. It's run by two fine folks, Andy Millman and Mikey Paleontologist. And they were kind enough to record some greetings for us here. This is not the greeting they recorded that we played Friday, because we sorted things out, and they recorded us a new one. It's all going to go great. So let's bring that up here. That's how loud we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Moonbase 2 all the way over in Europe
That was my
Ladies and
elbow.
gentlemen, from Moonbase 2 all the way over in Europe well, mostly from Europe these days, it's me, Mikey, and I'm joined by my friend and compatriot, Mr. Andy Millman. Hello, Andy. Hi, Miss Mike. How are you doing this day? I'm very good because we appear to be in Canada at the TFcon podcaster panel, and that's amazing. It is. It's fantastic, the power of the digital medium that we work in.
Yeah, I mean, this digital medium it brings us together. The way we have these UK guys here for.
Wait, come on, Chris. Wasn't quite done yet. You know, does you need to put yourself into everything? No, it's your panel. I think you can calm yourself down just a little bit.
I'm not. I'm calm.
Vision guys, they put so much effort and work into things here. But no, internet personality evangelist would like your attention, everyone.
I just was saying it's really.
Right, so just so I know, I spent a day dealing with people telling me that fossils aren't real, and I'm being interrupted by a man who constantly tells Aaron that helicopters aren't real.
Yeah.
Well, they're not, right?
No.
But Andy. Andy. Mike, can you? Oh, okay. The file seems to be over. Thanks, Mikey and Andy, for that wonderful intro. Moonbase 2 is a great podcast based out of the United Kingdom. That's where British people come from.
Only British people.
Well, and Irish people, because that's where Mikey's from. It's weird, actually. We up here are representing 2 of the podcasts of the fandom. There are many more out there, and I'd recommend y'all go out there and find some more podcasts. Fill up that. What do you call it? That playlist.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Those are words.
Okay. Hey, your podcatcher. Actually, Aaron, what we got to do is we got to get ours on Google Play.
Yeah.
'Cause I think
that's all that's left. Because we got the Zune crowd.
We have the Zune listener. Our blessed Zune listener
out there.
Confirmed, by the way.
If we go on any other ones, you're stealing our ideas.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Have you applied for Spotify yet?
who?
Spotify?
I haven't met the gentleman. Well, we'll talk about this after, I'm sure. As we said in the previous panel, there's a thing in podcasting. It's what you call alpha theft. It's where you just make eye contact with the person you're stealing from, and you make it clear you're stealing it from them, and then it's completely morally okay. So we are setting up a Discord chat room, and possibly looking into Zencaster. And man, it's a good thing that we thought of that.
Right. It's a good, unique idea that we had.
Yes. I'm just getting our little...
Transmissions likes to be the R&D for the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Jeremy has got infinite levels of tech. In fact, he actually has a piece of tech I'm very jealous of. You see the thing down there with the fuzzy thing on it? The Zoom H4n that I've had for a couple of years? I got introduced to its bigger, much more fantastic sibling, the Zoom H6, while I was doing some stuff at the YouTube space. And then here comes Jeremy. Guess what he's got up here? It's a friggin' Zoom H6. I'm
Thanks
salivating.
to all the transmissions donators.
Donors.
Donatreons?
Donors.
I gotta ask. All right, now that we're here, Charles, did you see Donatreons? I wasn't there for how it went over.
It was somehow edited out, and I didn't actually get to hear or see it. But I saw the chat room was modified, and I was like, why are our Patreons now Donatreons? And everyone was like, no, it's always been like that. It's always been that way.
Excellent.
So I just changed it back.
Oh, because I was peeking in on their Discord. I guessed on their show a little while ago, and a thing happened, and then I guess I kind of remotely vandalized your Discord, and I was wondering how long it would stick around.
Not even 12 hours.
But yeah, we're at the end of the show, and I was curious, just for our first little thing we can talk about here, big moments of the show. Maybe one per panelist, just what your big moment of the show was for you. I'm going to start at the end of the table because that's the hardest one for me to see. I know we got a monitor right here. I can just look at you here. I don't even need to look at real Daryl. I can just look at virtual Daryl. So virtual Daryl, hi.
Hey.
Oh wow, way back at me. That's crazy. What was your big moment of the show?
For me, it was finally getting a chance to meet John Barber. He's been writing the books for quite some time now, and because of him being an employee of IDW for quite some time, he wasn't allowed to come up to TFcon. So finally, he is doing his own thing, and now he's up here. So I finally got a chance to meet him, and he's a pretty awesome dude, and a really nice guy. So I got some books signed by him, a good number of books signed by him. I won't say the number, it's more than 50. And he's awesome.
John Barber has to dictate all his future stories now because his hands have fallen off.
They're all crippled.
Was it 51?
It was more than that. Well, more.
52?
Were you into triple digits?
No, definitely not. I'm not
So
a
99?
I'm not a teenager.
98? There's always, I mean, this is not going to take that long, right? Like, who all can count backwards from 100? Whoa.
Like 4 people raised their hands. So either we need to look into the education system or get some
It
caffeine.
was 62. Okay?
62, okay.
I did 62 books with John Barber.
When you say over 50, 62 isn't that embarrassing. Like,
It was a lot. It filled the shoebox by itself. But no, he's an awesome guy. And then we got to talk to him about the upcoming project that he has written with in partnership with Christos Gage and art with Alex Milne and colors by Josh Perez. The ROM versus Transformers Shining Armor series, and really that is very exciting. If anybody out here is at all interested in Transformers, sci-fi, horror, it is amazing, really amazing.
The colors in that book. Amazing.
Yeah.
The colors
Josh
on that,
Perez.
there he is.
colors are great when they're by Josh Perez.
If that's actually Josh and not his doppelganger, that he actually has.
Where'd he go?
Really, the book comes out next week, so take a look at that in your comic book stores. Really, I'm a very critical reader myself. I'm art first, story second, and I'm floored by that book. It was phenomenal. And talking with Alex, he's like, it just gets crazier after this, man.
It's killing me that the book didn't come out the week before
I
TFcon.
know, I know.
It's killing me.
We were pushing John and Alex to try and talk to their to IDW and get some books for this weekend, but they couldn't get here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Charles, what was a big moment for you this year?
So this was something that was really unexpected. I was adopted by Arthur Burghardt. That was an amazing moment in the voice actors panel. So I was sitting quietly listening to the panel, enjoying the stories.
I think you were asleep at one point.
Shut up, Daryl.
That's why we put them next to each other.
And so I think Mr. Burkhardt and Mr. Bell were arguing about something, and in the midst of the argument, he starts pointing at me, and I'm thinking, and I like, are you pointing at me? He's like, stand up. I'm like, okay. And so then I became like his cousin who was going to beat Michael Bell up at the end of the show. I didn't do it though, so he's still alive.
But only because of the threat, right?
I was gonna say, like, we got streaming capabilities if something does. What? You wouldn't stream it? I would. How were the voice actor panels, by the way? I didn't really make it to many panels this year, and I was like asking people when that's the case, like, something stuck out to you.
It was fun. I mean, both with the G1 guys and the Beast Wars guys, they really enjoy getting into it and answering fan questions. And I think Scott McNeil, he's kind of always on and excited and happy to do crazy things. And so the Beast Wars panel was particularly high energy. So yeah, it was fun.
Cool. Well, Aaron.
Hey.
What was a big moment for you?
I really liked Aaron Archer's panel on Saturday.
Hey, my second question to you is going to be, tell me about Aaron Archer's panel. So tell me about.
I was going to leave that in. My the one neat thing for me that came out of that is he actually dropped the value, or the price rather, of steel molds that are done. For Metroplex was the example that he gave, and he's like, "That's the big expensive
Titans
one.
Metroplex.
That's the Titans Return Metroplex." For it was $300,000 for just the steel molds. That's before packaging. That's before making the first one. Just the physical production cost, and that's always a thing that I've talked about. When somebody says, "Oh, third party, why are they always so expensive?" It's like, well, they're not doing nearly the numbers. So when you have something that costs, let's go a third of that for something cheaper, $100,000 before you've made toy one. Okay, the first toy you've made, you have to sell for $100,000 before you can make any profit.
But I want them to be cheaper.
Yeah, then they need to sell more or be made of lesser material.
Why can't they just make me one, like, as a favor?
Can't you just 3D print one?
Yeah. Well, I do have a 3D printed toy here, but that's an entirely realm of things.
That's kind of one of my big.
But no, Aaron's panel, it was really cool because he went through kind of his whole time at Hasbro and even talked about how his favorite line that nobody cares about is the Batman line that he did everything on. And he's like, and I'll go to 80s toy shows and dig through bins and not even find in the
the laser one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't even find, the one that's the torso and a leg. It's just gone. But no, that was a really good panel.
Yeah, I heard his workshop was really good today too. Did anyone do that?
Me.
You did too?
That was what I was going to say.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, Jeremy.
Next in line.
Yeah.
What was your big moment?
The Aaron Archer workshop this morning.
Well, tell me about it.
It was fun. There was a handful of people in there. It was about building the brand, and unfortunately, no photography or anything was allowed because we got to see a lot of stuff that never happened, and it was just really interesting to see from start to finish how we went through like a fictional, like reviving a game that never came out, and it was really neat. And I'm not one to take notes at anything. I took like 7 pages of notes. So he wants to do these again, so I say if you're interested and they offer it, check it out.
And he's thinking of doing an art one too.
Oh, yeah, and he's thinking of doing an art one. And if you haven't seen his art, it's really good. I mean, you know him as the toy designer and stuff, but he started as an artist, and it's great.
Yeah, like if you didn't know, like Aaron Archer has been pretty active on Facebook and Instagram and cross-posting to Twitter, and he puts up a lot of cool stuff. Sometimes he puts up some pretty cool retro stuff, like from his Batman days. I remember there was a bunch
and
of
he talked about that Batman stuff too. There's lots of Batman in the PowerPoint.
Right.
I always remember Armada Megatron has Batman ears hidden in his head design. It's one of my favorite things. I had kind of 2 big moments, and I'm over here, so I get to do both. But one of them was I finally got to meet David White, who is online as Mecha Zone. He has a run of 3D printed toys, among other things. One of them is right here. And he's also worked on Transformers. He did some designs for one of the DS War for Cybertron games, I believe. And his toys, I think, are fascinating. I first met him online a couple years ago when I got introduced to his Mechanaut Fang figure he was about to release. And when I realized that this guy designed the figure on paper, like straight up, sketched the design, moved that into a CAD program, modeled it in 3D, printed it out, finished it, tweaked it, printed it again until he had a copy he was happy with. He like tested it with kids in the neighborhood, going like, "Here, play with this." And then he acetone finishes the thing with vapor in a magic way that Aaron loves to hear me talk about. Basically, like he's a one-man operation to create a fairly durable and playable toy. And so when I heard he was coming out to TFcon Toronto, I was really excited, and I also kind of rushed through getting a review done of his newest figure because I knew he'd have some stuff built in that body here, and I wanted it to at least be known to a few people that those figures are playable and posable and really fun. And it sounds like he had a good time out here, and I finally got to meet him face to face, shake his hand, and I bought a thing off him because I like his toys a lot. So that was really cool. And then the other one was a surprise. We did anyone seen those third-party reviewer roundtables we've done at the last couple TFcons? Mm-hmm. So we did another one. Spoiler alert. Thank goodness this time Alex from Ages 3 and Up was actually here. He's their main filming guy, and we used to just film the thing on like 5.5 cameras without any synchronization, just kind of spread over the period of time that we were filming. Horrible, just messy pile of garbage is what we'd hand to Alex.
Kind of like what we have set up here?
Yeah, except we actually turn everything on at the same time.
Oh.
And this is all using similar codecs. So he'd get this manic pile of unsynchronized trash, and he would edit it within about a week into something workable, watchable, and really decent. So he was actually here this time to film that roundtable, and we got to talk to the people at Flame Toys a little bit. Not like an interview, but we got to talk to them, and I was flipping out about Flame Toys because that drift, the team that worked on the articulation is a team who works with Sentinel a lot called Chemical Attack, and I adore their work. And so I went over to their booth, and then I realized that one of the people from Chemical Attack was there, speaking through a translator if you had any questions. So I had my big moment where I was like, I'm going to talk to someone who I'm a fan of. This doesn't happen to me a lot, where I just turn into a gibbering fan wreck. So, and this is through a translator. So I was like that, terrible games journalist you've watched on YouTube who's trying to talk to the creator of Mario, going like, "I love Mario," and then waiting for the translation, and then running out of things to say. So going like, I really love Mario.
A lot.
So I was like, I'm a big fan of your work, and she translates it, and I'm like, I love the thought you put into the articulation. And the guy was cool. He's like talking to her about articulation, constantly doing this, and I was like, he gets it. And then at the end of the thing, after I got a few compliments and I wanted to get in, we're finishing up, and then as I'm leaving, I turn to him and I go, arigato. And I turn to leave, and I'm like, oh, great, now I'm that guy. And speaks to a translator the whole time, and then as he's leaving, looks all clever and goes like, I know how to say thank you in your language. Arigato. He was really cool. Most of this scenario, I think, is just my own skewed memory of things, but boy, did I feel happy and like a fool.
Just that adrenaline dump and then surge. And
the last time this happened, does anyone here, this is a bit of a stretch, anyone here watch Giant Bomb stuff at all? Okay, someone, you know Giant Bomb? You know Vinny? Yeah. So, I like Vinny a lot. I like what he does, I like his editing, I look up to him as a worker a whole lot. And I met him at a PAX, and I turned into the same just complete, like, jello mold of a person. Trying to say, oh, I like what you do. And I'm just like, editing's cool, bye. So that was a rare feeling for me. And it was fun. Anyway, big moments, right? I was going to ask you guys actually if there were any other panel things that really stuck out to you, because like I said, I didn't get to see a lot of the panels this year, which is becoming a really bad habit.
Well, I also saw the comics panel with John Barber and Nick Roche.
I did catch some of that.
Yeah, so that was fun. They did it all question and answer, so I think they maximized the time, so people got to ask a lot of questions, and I think they got into really interesting topics there, talking about how they some of the things that they worked on with the Transformers mythos and IDW
and the Punch Counterpunch story. I got a new piece of information for that. The new piece of information I heard, I don't know if you know, they solicited a Punch Counterpunch story many years ago, and it never came to fruition for various reasons. The thing I didn't know, which makes complete sense, is one of the reasons they haven't really gone back to it is the period it was written in. It just doesn't work for where IDW is at right now. Like IDW as a universe is in too different a place. And I was telling someone, like, I was thinking about how whenever I read the old Spotlight issues or like the whole Furman era of IDW, sometimes I feel like I'm reading a different continuity, even though it is all, thanks to John Barber in many cases, it is all kind of band-aided together. Like, there are concepts from that old era where it's just like, it doesn't really tie in anymore in a direct way. So it made sense.
You don't really need a double agent when the war is over.
Yeah, what do you do, right? Well, you tell the story. I don't want to hear. But apparently Nick Roche has something he's going to win an Eisner with. And you can win an Eisner for a licensed property if it's good enough. Apparently you can't.
Read Ron versus Transformers out this week.
That's right. Well, we're at the point of the show where I wanted to do a bit of mysterious fun, and then lo and behold, the transmissions guys straight up said we have some mysterious fun.
I have a bag of mysterious fun.
It's going to go in my mouth, too.
Hey-o.
Not the bag, but what's in the bag.
These aren't like sugar-free gummy bears, are they?
No. I live in Wisconsin, the cheese capital of the U.S., and I was at an event recently, and there's this thing called Cow Candy, and they have a tie-in with Hasbro. They had My Little Pony and some other stuff. I have Optimus Prime Punch Fruit Punch Jack Cheese. So this is Fruit Punch flavored cheese, and everyone up here is going to taste it.
It's Transformers relevant. Optimus Prime is on the front of the package.
Wait, you said everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
No.
Yeah,
everyone.
No, there's enough.
Everyone.
We're on the same team, Jeremy.
Yeah, I tried it live on YouTube with
saw
you guys.
That's why we're.
Hey, Jeremy's already tried it, so he doesn't have to.
He's murdering cheese?
He's not murdering it. He's enhancing
Do we
it.
have to eat the whole thing?
No.
Yes.
This is literally like bright red cheese.
Like all the good cheeses,
Listen.
It's strong. I mean, you've heard of blue cheese, right?
Optimus Prime is on the front of this too. Yeah. Listen. Y'all have had cranberry and cheese, right? Like, how could this be very much different?
What?
This is podcasting.
Yeah. This is a Robots in the Skies tie-in.
It's cool. Oh yeah, there's a fruit punch. Yeah, that's hot.
It's okay, they're in Canada. They'll get good health care. Drink the
And now that everyone's tasted it, I'll tell you what my almost 3-year-old said.
will
You wouldn't
totally
think you could
finish
mix
that
fruit
for
punch
you.
and cheese? You'd be right.
No, yes! What do you mean?
I mean,
my-
the cheese isn't great. The fruit punch is just hiding behind bad cheese.
Red on the inside, by the way, in case you're wondering. It's just solid red.
My kid, who will eat almost anything, said, "Daddy, this is horrible." So,
Why does it keep changing the flavor?
Why does it smell so funny?
because it's fruit punch.
I didn't smell it!
Why do I keep tasting?
Okay, because it starts off.
Well, because it's such a bad cheese product, it just hides like in the back corner of your mouth. You think, oh, okay, it's clear.
Where are my manners? Anyone want some?
Anyway, I thought this would be a great TFcon.
Yeah, that's
So you bite into it and you get this like shot of like berry flavor.
The Swedish chef wants one.
That was the last one.
Here, you can eat what's left of mine. I told
Anyway, you get this shot of watermelon or whatever, but then it tastes like cheese, but then it tastes like fruit again, but it never tastes like both. It just keeps flipping.
Yeah.
And then the final aftertaste is like, you know how if you chew on a really nice fruit candy, you get that saliva? If you like spat that out in a jar and then drank it, it's kind of like the taste that's left over at the end.
It is horrible.
Why? Why?
This is to show podcasters do anything for hits.
Why are you tasting it?
Washington takes it away.
What is it?
It's just a sweet tart. It takes it right away.
Oh, who needs a sweet tart?
Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and go with some masking candies here.
It's fine.
Daryl's just going to grind it up and snort it.
I don't know if it's picking up in the recording the wall of noise coming from the audience of like disgusted sounds.
And one person getting oddly aroused.
That's me.
Yeah.
Shopcandy.com.
Right, if you want to order some, it's almost good. If it tied it together in a way where it tastes more like a fruity whipped cream cheese.
It tastes good except the beginning, the middle, the end, and the aftertaste.
Yeah, it's like stage 4 or 5. The 4th of the 5th levels is kind of cool.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Anyway, that was Transmissions who brought that. Not WTF or
It was
TFW.
Jeremy. He's not affiliated with any podcast.
I like how they have to do gags and have matching clothes.
Yeah,
This
well,
is just something else you can rip off.
We're a team.
No, we're good.
we're so cool, we don't need matching clothes. And I'm so cool, I wear dead MMO logos. City of Heroes represent! 2 people is a lot more than I expected. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about podcasting, because we all do podcasting, and I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk a bit about the craft, seeing how we're all on tours. So, to start off, I wanted to ask, Transmissions, when you guys started, compared to now, how has your tech setup changed?
That's a Jeremy question.
When we started, we had a software called Audacity running on everyone's computer, and we all hit record at the same time.
That's exactly where I thought he was going to go.
And we count down 3, 2, 1, or Charles counted down 3, 2, 1 mark, and then we started. And then we had to line up all the audio files, and it took forever. And we edited the shows ourselves. Now we use a site called Zencastr.com. It's Zencastr because E's are dumb. Z.
Zed?
So anyway,
This is why me and Daryl are on the outside, so that we can just like pile drive it into these Americans.
So anyway, this site does a lot of that for us. Through our browser, it records our audio locally on each person's computer, so you don't get any like hiccups with network congestion or whatever. When we're done, when we start, Charles will start the session. He'll hit record. When we're done and he had stopped, it uploads all the files to a Dropbox, and that has just saved so much time. And we also have a listener that has volunteered to edit the show for us. So usually now within 24, 48 hours, we have an edited version of our show ready to go.
No one pays me. I'm sorry.
We don't pay.
Be careful, because one day he might start asking.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get the belt out.
If our Patreon gets much higher, we're gonna have to pay.
Yeah, you're gonna steal that from us?
No, I'll just clone myself. No, I'm too lazy to hire an editor.
Yeah, but going forward, we have plans to incorporate video a lot more, and that's a work in progress because video is a lot more difficult.
Video, especially multi-video and streaming, can be a real butt.
Skype especially.
Skype is the anus of voice over IP.
Yes.
You ever see a service? Okay, it's like, imagine if Skype was someone who is a fit like well-toned machine just running in perfect rhythm, and now it's 15 years later and no one fired him, right? And he doesn't do any exercise. Now he just shows up and sometimes just falls asleep. Sometimes actually just falls out the window and someone has to go pick him up and put him back together, and that's Skype.
I still have flashbacks from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, that was a session. That's what that was. That was our final Skype session. Because we had like 15 disconnects.
At least.
Once I edit that podcast, at least 10% of that podcast is just me talking to myself during our outs, because I just decided to keep talking.
Did you find my hidden messages for you?
I haven't looked yet.
Okay.
TFcon suddenly showed up.
Oh, yeah. Amazing how that happens and it's not been on your calendar for probably months.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was going to ask the other guys, on a podcast performer level, how do you feel now versus how you felt like when you started? Like, were you guys, I find most people, myself included, the moment you, for the first time, are recording yourself, and you know people are going to listen to you, you suddenly realize everything that's wrong with how you sound. And then you want to run.
Yeah, I mean, I think now, when we started, I was very self-conscious, but I think now we just keep going. You know, there's no fear anymore. It's just, I know I'm saying things wrong. I know I'm saying and it's going to be terrible, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep talking, and at the end, we'll figure out if it's something people want to listen to. Usually, it is, even with the bad stuff.
I also really am very self-conscious of my owns, and I hear it all the time, and I can't stop. It's I'm thinking of it right now, and I can't stop.
Yeah, I also hate the idiot that hides in my head that and then you're aware of it, and then it's just
It's hard to convince yourself that some dead air is okay if you're trying to think.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I always was saying to some people that the first year of editing on WTF is a great example of a first year of any podcast, which is what you should stop doing, which is when you start a podcast, and this is a pattern I know a lot of people have gone through. You start a podcast and you're editing it, your habit is, I'm going to make us sound perfect. There will be no ums, there will be no uhs. In fact, there will be no dead air, and we are all going to sound like rapid-fire people who just took like 3 shots of black blood of the earth and put caffeine in our ear. Then you start to hate yourself, and because you're the one who's telling yourself to do this editing. And then the best part, though, the light at the end of the tunnel is when you decide, you know what, this time I'm going to leave that one in. Like, you still edited 50 of them out, but you left that one in. You're so sure. All your comments, you'd be like, hey! If Angela said at that point, like, I thought he took seriously, and then like literally no one cares. In fact, they start going like, hey, I didn't like you guys' opinion on that comic book, you bunch of scum. And you're like, well, I don't care about that. You didn't call me scum for the It's a t-shirt, by the way. But yeah, I think it's something that podcasts participants, everyone goes through it, and everyone comes out at the end saying the same thing. Those natural stutters, certainly you don't want to say them literally every 2 or 3 words if you can help it, but they add that feeling of a natural conversation that eventually makes a podcast almost more accessible.
Yeah, you need to work to try to remove them as you're talking, but some of them do make sense. It sounds natural.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to induct a new podcaster into the world?
That was 2 segments from now.
Oh.
But
podcast.
Let's. I had one other thing I wanted to talk about first, but yeah, well, we can.
I mean, you need to go into your recording setup.
Yeah. All right. My
okay,
recording
we took
setup,
a wrench and we hit it against the computer until it works.
It has changed many times. At first, we were doing the Audacity thing, basically, except I was using GarageBand, and at the time, I had a GarageBand where nothing could be longer than 66 minutes. And I took the podcast far too seriously, and for some reason, I thought that I might get thrown off the website if it wasn't perfect, because I was like 24. So we were fighting to keep our recordings under 66 minutes, no matter what. And the way the software worked, I couldn't even fast forward past 66 minutes, so I had to like back edit everything. Since then, GarageBand stopped being garbage, for the most part. And I then got a condenser mic, and that changed my life. But I also got a mini soundboard, and that took me down a different direction of overthinking everything. Because instead of just recording Skype calls with a Skype recorder, I was like, no, I could save $10 by getting 15 more cables and running a demented loop of sound signals 15 times through the soundboard, so I can record just me in one track and everyone else in another track and hear the monitor and blah, blah, blah. And that was fine until like 5 years passed and my soundboard started to cack out. And then that's also when I realized recording Skype calls is much easier than it was 5 years ago. So then we moved into just having a Skype recorder and all recording our own audio. So I just have a sync track, which is a call recording. But I like multi-track editing because it means I can tweak stuff if one person like has a cough.
And it also means you have a backup.
And it means you have a backup, which I have used many times.
With us, Charles records the backup, just in case.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, by the way, if you are going to do anything involving audio, always record redundantly. Like, redundancies are like candy. They're wonderful. Nothing is better than thinking that you lost audio and it turns out a third redundancy was happening like over in the back of the room. It might not sound great, but it's still there. Anyway, nowadays we're starting to move into Discord, and I'm starting to try to figure out how to record Discord calls because I bought a Skype recorder for like $20 a while ago.
Audio hijack.
Hang on a second. Audio.
Yeah, well, you can't buy it on Amazon, but if you do, I got a code for you.
I thought of this.
Yeah. Transmissions hijack there.
Transmission.
Welcome to WTF at Transmissions.
Not sure why. But yeah, the main thing that about our tech setups that I want to share with everyone else who might be watching here or later is that to record a podcast, all you really need is a microphone. And there are like whole videos about why they're not the best microphones, but if you can get a good deal on it, something like a Blue Yeti is better than recording on a shoe.
Well,
this microphone here is the Audio-Technica AT 2005. Much cheaper than a Blue Yeti and works better in non-sound treated rooms.
I didn't know that.
And it's USB and XLR.
That's what
all right.
Sound guy.
Yeah. And it's roughly between $50 to $70 on Amazon. It fluctuates.
What if I found a Blue Yeti for like $20?
Go ahead. No, I don't care.
So, I mean, I think also you shouldn't think there's a barrier to entry for podcasting. As Chris said, you just need a mic, probably a computer to record it. But you know, when we started the podcast, we didn't spend a lot of money on fancy new mics or anything like that. We got into a Skype call. I had a headset mic that I took from work, and we just started talking. It didn't sound great back then, but it didn't make anybody's ears bleed either. So people still listen.
Don't listen to old
They went
WTF
deaf before the email address came through.
Good content trumps bad sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a phrase of mine that really have definitely picked up at times. Is perfection is the enemy of complete.
Yeah. That said, Jeremy, how do you feel about people who might go back to listen to like your very first episode?
I'm sorry. And we've had people do that. We like recently in the last year, a listener of ours was like repainting his house. So he started with episode 1 and was just listening to our entire catalog.
Yeah, whenever that's happened at least twice, and every time someone gives me the heads up, I like have a momentary panic attack, and then I almost want to apologize or talk them out of it. But it's their time. But yeah, I really don't like the idea of.
And Daryl recently re-listened to our episode 0 that never got released.
Why?
Nostalgia, and it's just to see how far we've come. It's terrible.
What? How far you've come?
Yes. No, the episode itself is terrible. It was also that first recording was the first time we actually spoken too, so it was interesting.
I think I might still have some of the auditions saved for WTF, which was the first time I spoke to a majority of those people. And yeah, I really, especially the first time I spoke to Gog. And this is like baby Gog.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, nostalgia. I had a personal anecdote about people who buy too much equipment before they've even recorded an episode. Do you know how I got 2 weighted stands, 2 condenser mics, a snowball mic, 2 pop guards, and like a giant soundboard about this big? They were left behind by my friend's former roommate. He bought all of that in order to start planning to record a comedy podcast. He apparently then spent 3 weeks making them re-record the podcast over and over again so it would be funnier. Tried to edit it for about 2 months and then gave up and left all the equipment behind in a box. I since then abused that equipment so horrifically most of it is broken now.
It's a good deal, though.
Oh yeah, free is the best deal. Like that's partly why I did it. Like I was going to BotCons and I was like, well, I'll bring condenser mics.
Oh, is that where all that gear came from?
Yeah, and I like wrapped them in socks, threw them in my luggage, and eventually one of them came out in pieces. And I tried to put it back together, and it turns out you actually have to do more than just push all the pieces back together on a piece of technology like that. But yeah, podcasting and video, really, it's like just go for it. Try to make something cool, or not even cool. Just try to make something.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to make the best thing until much, much, much later. So just go at it.
Yeah.
And have fun. Yeah, that brings us to. I'll switch this around. Yeah, Daryl.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about opportunities.
Well, sir, as you know, we have a 4-person podcast, and our 4th is not here, and he's in Washington State. We're not quite used to running as just a trio, so we need to add a 4th member to transmissions. And on Friday night, we auctioned off a spot for the 4th membership Transmissions podcast. Vincent, you're here. Come on up, buddy. Now, by joining Transmissions, he automatically gets a cover up till our number 1. With the special Transmissions cover. There you go. And then you and me get to share a mic.
Fantastic.
So now that you're here, how about we do some mystery fun again? That's Don't worry. This time it's just my special catch-all term for that thing I do where I brought some WTF listener questions. Because we get a whole bunch, and this is a great way to just funnel them out. Anyone here sent in a listener question lately? No? Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, A, why not? B, last time someone did, we just got them to answer their own listener question. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, I got one here from Primal D. That's Prymald. So I'm going to read this question, and I guess down on we got the shot together. All right, we got the full shot together. We can start over there with you, Vincent. Yeah, hi.
Yes.
We'll start with you after I read the question. Quote, a year ago, my son really got into Energon. I had sold much of my Energon bots 2 years prior, but as his interest grew, I saw my fondness for these bots rekindled. I've now collected most of the ones I sold, plus some that I never got the first time around. Similarly, I started reading all the G.I. Joe comics, which prompted me to track down the Tomahawk helicopter I sold less than a year ago. What are some of your favorite or memorable, quote-unquote, get-backs?
So the Transformer that got me back into Transformers was the Generations Drift, because I was 15 years old, and Japanese cards and swords, and that's the best thing ever.
Literally how I felt when I was 15, so I can get you.
Well, for myself, it was G1 Jetfire. I had it as a kid, and yeah, Jetfire.
Holler for Skyfire! Okay.
My G1 Jetfire as a kid, I traded a fellow classmate at school. It was the dumbest thing I ever did, and I regret it to this day. But I traded a kid at school my Defensor gift set for I know. I punished myself enough for this.
Get off the stage.
And I traded him for his Jetfire because I wanted it so bad, and he gave it to me. Sans armor, sans arms.
What? Hold on a second. Armless naked Jetfire for a gift set?
Were you heavily concussed at the time?
I was smitten by the jet mode. I loved it.
So when do we get the auction off his spot?
Very soon.
Maybe DC.
Hold on, I've got some change.
This is the Transmissions toy guy, by the way.
Yeah. I was young. I was about 9, 10. And I really liked the jet mode, and later on in years, I mean maybe 2, 3 years later, it just realized that the figure was not good enough. It was missing his arms. It was missing armor, which honestly I didn't know it had until later on in life.
But you did know it had arms, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
As a kid, I used the wings as his arms. I mean, you make do. But getting that thing back, I mean, I got rid of it once I broke pieces off. But
what was left to break off?
Oh, I broke the legs off, and I think a wing fell off. But once I got it back, I completed it, and it was a glorious figure, and I love it.
As long as his head was intact, that's all that matters. No.
It has to be.
Charles, what about you? What's a get back?
This is if you know me, this is kind of cliche, but I have a comic get back. So I was always big into the Transformers comics. I played with the toys as a kid. I loved the toys, but after the cartoon ended, I was really into the comics. I continued to collect the comics into the 90s with G2 and everything. Then the comics were gone for about 10 years, or maybe a little less than that. And in 2002, they had the Dreamwave series start, and that was my I had not been in a comic book store for a long time, and I was back into regularly buying comics after the Dreamwave first series started. Dreamwave didn't end well, but it did get me back into Transformers comics and later toys, and seeing what was out there, and then later on getting that the 20th anniversary Optimus Prime, the MP01. That was a big figure that really got me back into really caring about Transformers again.
All right, Aaron, did anything even have to get you back? Like, did you leave?
I don't think I ever really left Transformers. I'm looking over to you. I don't know. Maybe I should look there something.
Hi, I'm Virtual Chris.
Hi, Virtual Chris. You're much smaller. You're like just squish. Oh. No. So I mean, through there are photos of me getting G1 toys, early G1, through everything, Beast Wars, Beast Machines. Like when I became big, like much more into the fandom was where there's this really weird website that was getting tapes every week from Japan with the Car Robot series, and watching those that like 340 by 240 or whatever, 320 by 240. What?
Real media files. But on monitors at the time, it wasn't postage stamp size.
Yeah.
It was more like milk carton size.
Yeah. But just really weird, and then it came over to the U.S., and then it became a thing that I fell into a bad crowd with the Hartmans and was buying one of everything.
He went straight up into like packaging variants.
No, I would watch for them.
To
help out, and maybe I would buy, like, if I was buying one for them, I might buy one for me, because you gotta have that sort of thing.
I only smoke weed once a day, not twice a day.
Yeah. But, I never really had a comeback moment.
All right. Also, just realized we might have actually misinterpreted the question, but it's still a good one.
Okay.
So, sorry, Primal D. Send it again. How about you, Jeremy?
What got me back into Transformers was being in a hotel room in, I believe, St. Louis, and I caught an episode of Beast Machines with Key to Vector Sigma in it, and I was like, oh, I remember that thing, and I just started watching, and then I got hooked on Beast Wars, and it was all over. But in terms of the actual question, the get back toys that we got rid of as a kid. Just happened this weekend. It's the old Tyco Transformers train set.
Mm-hmm.
I had it as a kid. I have no idea what happened to it. Parents probably sold it. Daryl, he works part-time at a comic shop, and they do toys, and he was able to piece together from 2 sets a fully complete Tyco train set, and I bought it from the store, and it's up in my room, and it's glorious.
Do you have it set up going around the room
I
the
have
whole time?
not, but Daryl tested it.
Oh.
I'm trusting that it works. I just have to find a place to put it. It's big.
So that answered the actual question, so Primal D, don't send it again.
Yeah. You can send it to WTF, but transmissions, we pay attention.
Well, as far as for if you want to go to toys that I've gotten back, I've never really gotten rid of toys, short of the like emergency financial crunch stuff. But a lot of that was, hey, I've got, all these extra copies of basically the same thing, and then like maybe some BotCon toys would be nice to get back, but I've not gone back after it because those have only gone up.
Really though? Because I've been trying to sell a BotCon 07 set of souvenirs for like literally 800 years. It's been that long since
You weren't
2007.
asking $800 for it.
I wasn't. Maybe I was asking for like $7.99. I wasn't. I don't remember anymore what my first price was. It's gone down so many times. But like Aaron, I never actually. Maybe this is the root of some of the storage problems I have. Is I rarely ever get rid of things that I want to get back. However, as far as a get back into story, I also never left Transformers. So my story is that when I was a kid, I thought Power Rangers was super cool, and then I thought it was super kids nonsense. Literally, as I was still buying Transformers, I was like, Power Rangers is for babies. Transformers is for cool teenagers. And then I would start sneaking viewings of Power Rangers on Fox Kids now and then if I got home early enough. Literally to the point where I'd glance at it. If I heard someone else come in, change the channel. Nah, I'm watching Batman, a real cartoon, not baby stuff. And then it was a combination of things. I was in Toronto, and I was staying with my brother, and he was out working. So I was able to watch Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, a whole bunch. And I watched a whole bunch more of it at home. I got hooked on Lightspeed Rescue. And then from that, saw my first Kamen Rider. And basically, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and to an extent, Time Force, are kind of the reasons why I got back into Tokusatsu, along with Kamen Rider Zedo. So that's my get back in story. Y'all into Toku over here? Guys?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I got friends.
I support your being into things that I don't care about. It's fine.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? No, I just did that to make Daryl do that. Next thing we can talk about here, another open topic. What's your guys' segment of your show when you talk about things you got?
Trips to the store.
Let's do what we got this week. Gips to the store. Work in progress. So I was thinking just like one big get here at TFcon as far as items you got. Vincent, over on the end.
Yeah, we're bringing you back in again. You thought you were safe. You're not.
Also, just cut in if you have anything to say.
Oh boy.
You got this comic.
I did get this comic. He's done.
Literally the smallest thing he got.
He's got a good one.
I got a head sketch of Springer from Nick Roche, because Springer is the best Transformer.
Nice.
And just like 10 friends from Nick Roche, because I love Nick Roche.
We love Nick Roche too.
And I got the perfect effect, not the perfect effect, the Iron Factory Starscream, and he is really good.
Didn't you also get the bold forms Gladius?
Maybe. That is not so good.
Because I literally don't know anyone else who got one.
Yes, I would not recommend that at all.
Hey, you had a great. Sorry. Oh, never mind. You had a great look on your face when I passed by you in the dealing room, and you were like, I was like, oh, you got that? And you're like, yeah.
It has an interesting box. Yep.
Well, it does.
Yes.
Stirring praise.
Sorry, we're just colluding. It's something you do when you're a podcast host. Daryl.
Yeah.
What'd you get? What's a big get?
Well,
Other than under triple-digit signatures.
We're not making fun of it. He didn't get 69. There's no easy joke.
It was
Yeah.
It was 62 from John Barber.
one guy.
So how many signatures total then? See, I was just thinking, John, did you get over triple-digit signatures?
No.
99.
Close. Maybe. But no, I went and I got Masterpiece Star Saber has been a figure that I've been looking at, but not like chasing. So I always figured if I was at a convention and I had the budget, I would get Masterpiece Star Saber. So I got Masterpiece Star Saber.
Yes.
I also saw KFC Simba. So I got Simba. And then I talked to Bryce Rutledge. He's like, you got the joint kit for that, right? Because if you combine them, it's going to fall over. I'm like, no, I didn't know there was one. He's like, make sure you get that. Talk to, what's his name? Okay, cool. So I went and got that, another $20. Yeah, that's my big gadget. And since my wife and child are in the room, I'm going to not mention how much it costs.
$50.
It was, yeah.
He paid 50 for all that?
$5.
Wow, you got ripped off.
Yes, I'm not keeping it.
Charles, what about you? What's a get?
All right, so as I've mentioned earlier, I am kind of big into the comics, and one of the things that we've been talking about in the last couple of months is that there's a comic kind of reprint series that's really nice, hardback series that's called the Definitive G1 Collection, and it's reprinting, I think, pretty much all the comics from the 80s, both the US and the UK 80s stories, and the Dreamwave stories and the IDW stories. It's being produced in like monthly volumes. It's great. It's only available in the UK. It's not available anywhere else.
I got a subscription.
Oh, good for you.
Depending.
Charles, you stole that from me.
Pardon me? What?
It was an item at the auction. So did you donate them at the auction? You
they were
donated
a
for
double set of what originally came out.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have to talk.
I love auction beef. It's my favorite beef.
So sorry, what's your name?
Matt.
So Matt donated 4 volumes of the Definitive G1 Collection at the charity auction on Friday. And yes, I won. And apparently, I defeated Vincent and I defeated Antoine there. So
As soon as that was announced, Charles's hand was up.
My moment.
And now that he knows who he got them stolen from, they're probably going to go missing. We might have to wait Charles.
I mean, I have no responsibility for that. I mean,
they're already in the vault in a secure location.
Did you put them in a safe in the hotel room?
What's the combination?
1986.
Okay, just asking.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wait a second. That's 5 digits. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I know what he said. Aaron, what'd you get?
It was kind of random. Between this to taunt you with, yet another year I have a Target Master that Chris really wants. Did pick up Mechazone. I guess he's calling him the Epsilon NP03 from Mechazone. David A. White. It's a 3D printed toy that he does. Acetone vapor bath. It isn't dark magic, despite what Chris will tell you. It's really cool, really durable. It was a kind of a last minute thing. I'd been talking to David 2 or 3 times through the weekend, and just decided like, hey, I'll help support kind of an independent toy maker guy.
Yeah, that buggy's really cool. It's like
Yeah.
based on the Blaster Master buggy, but it also can turn into a torso for Diabattles V2.
Right, little opening cockpit. He has looks like an engine on the back. Oh, you flip it over, you turn it around, it's a head.
So you can also just have a buggy with a head on the top, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
He had a jumbo one of those.
Yeah.
That was printed at a size where a G.I. Joe could sit in the cockpit.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
And he had the same treatments to it. Looked really good.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I have 2 of those buggies because I'm a keener. How about you, Jeremy?
Well, since the train set was technically pre-TFcon, I got a page of original art from Alex Milne from More Than Meets the Eye. I believe it was 21. It was the page where Cyclonus pushes Royal into the lava or whatever. And it's just the inked art, no words on there at all. and I think the page works so well just with the art. So I've been wanting a page of original art for a while, and I'm glad that was my first one.
Nice. I got a couple things. There was actually one major get, which is I finally finished my Junkions. If you ignore United Rekgar. Ignore United Rekgar. You have to ignore United Rekgar. You're going to buy more. Sorry,
Hey,
talking to
Chris,
myself.
you're really close. Just one more.
But I saw at Capture Prey some of the stuff that was for sale there. There's a guy who had is it the one from the 3-pack? All their names sound the same to me. Junk Heap. Yeah, and that's one of the ones I was missing because I just never happened upon single Junk Heaps, and I didn't want the hot rod or the cup that it came with. But someone had bought those 2 toys, so I also got the entire box with it and the instructions because I said, well, you're just going to throw those out otherwise, so at least put that burden on me. But yeah, I finished that collection. Do you know how tempted? Do you guys see at Chosen Prime that $250 whatever bag of Junkions?
Yes.
You know how close I came? That close. You can count it. 1, 2, 3.
Looks like an inch.
Yeah, approximately one inch. 1, 2, 3. One thing I got that's like sitting right here because whatever it was here at the moment. I kind of want to mention it because it's new. Is the Open and Play Big Spring. I like this thing. It's not flawless. It's got big ass problems. We talked about that actually at the Fan Media panel briefly, I think. But I kind of dig it. Like it's just it's a chunky, fun Springer. It's not like a masterpiece of like really or anything. It's one of those toys where it happens to be the right height if that is all you need.
Right.
But I like the 2 alt modes. They're kind of squat, but in a sort of fun submarine way. If a submarine was like a lima bean, maybe it's a bit of a stretch metaphor. The only thing about this guy is like, among other things, his face is hilarious. But he also has got a thing where some of his tabs super duper need some floor polish. The main one is the belly flap that holds his chest down. It tabs in super tight, right? Real tight. Problem is, oh, did it come loose? Oh, you know what? It's not in the right position. There we go. Okay, so it tabs in super tight, right? Blah, blah, blah. But if you move the arm, these are tighter, right? So you do this enough. Or do I have the magic? No, I don't have the magic one.
There it is.
Yeah. So that starts happening. And that's embarrassing, right? Like you never want that to happen. I mean, you can solve it by holding them here when you do this, but there's things on this thing that need a little bit of tender love and care. Also, literally no instructions on a fairly intricate triple changer, which is fun. Someone told me today apparently they put instructions up on their YouTube page, and I'm like, well, you could have said literally anything about that on the package. That there are instructions on your YouTube page.
Well, that was something. So I saw like the Volk. Those
Moss toys.
Moss toys. There's a QR code in there.
Yeah.
For like 2 or 3 different places that you can go and see a transformation. And when you said like, yeah, it's up on the YouTube page, I was like,
yeah,
no, nothing telling you to go to their YouTube page.
Just take a Sharpie and just write it on there.
Yeah, it's dot one in. That's how QR can. Well, that's why I was kind of mean about it because I was like, I know that Moss Toys same weekend is debuting a toy where it has a QR code. You hold your phone at it and it sends you to the transformation video. And you got to at least do that. I understand not wanting to print the instructions because you know what sucks most of the time is paper instructions. So let's put a link somewhere. Anyway, other than that, like I kind of like this thing. I'm not going to tell you it's the best Springer ever because there are like 100 of them. But the other thing that makes me a little bit hopeful is that I accidentally got this guy's head wedged into his own chest. Long story. And while I was trying to get it out,
I hate when that happens.
while I was trying to get it out, the head just like I popped the whole thing off the ball joint and his face flew off. So his face is removable. There's a picture of that up on Crin's Twitter.
Yeah.
I think. Terrifying face. There's just like 2 dots in the slot
Wasn't the
mouth.
caption
Like,
just like,
it was supposed to be like a loud, long hissing noise. You know, like if your face was made of dots and slots. But yeah, I kind of like this thing. This tab bugs me only because he's got this cool thing where like his leg has a giant C-clip inside of it. And I love C-clips, so whenever there's hidden C-clips, I get excited. Anyway, I got other cool stuff, but that's off the top of my head. Some cool stuff I got. I mean, I got another one of David White's figures. I've talked at length about them, and I didn't want to take Aaron's spotlight away. I do that enough. Also, he got a ram horn, so I'm kind of grumpy. Anyway, we are proceeding into kind of the back part of this panel. So what if we were going to do...
Yeah, I'd like to have everyone sing happy birthday to a special guy.
What's his name?
Alexander. He's back there in the Boba Fett shirt. Hi. Can you wave? He turns 3 tomorrow. So it's wondering if everyone can sing happy birthday. It's no longer copyright restricted.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Alexander. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. So who all is going to own up to the part where when you hit a name with a lot of syllables, you actually don't know what to do with that part of the song, and you didn't think about it till you actually had sounds coming out of your mouth. So as you were going, you started to think about it. It became
which is a common thing you run into podcasting too. You're starting to say something and you realize you don't exactly know what you're going to say.
Yep, and you just sort of keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, helicopters aren't real. And you just kind of roll with it.
You're lucky that there's someone in between us right now.
That's why I put you over there.
Well, then I wonder what's
Whoa! Jeremy, an arm just came out of your shoulder. I was my periphery vision, you know. Anyway, yeah, happy birthday. At the back end of this thing, my plan was to do the raffle.
Everybody get raffle tickets? All right. Is there anybody that didn't get a raffle ticket?
Come up here if you don't have a raffle ticket.
Here, I'll take care of the tickets. Here.
I get a raffle ticket for myself because I'm holding general benefits.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people need tickets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She's being really lazy and doesn't want to get up.
6. Okay.
Yep.
Kara, come get a ticket.
By the way, there are a number of raffle prizes, so there's not just one winner, because that would mean we'd just be setting up someone to get mugged.
Good news, this cheese is not...
Tear those individually.
Throw that cheese away!
That's why we ate all the cheese.
That's why I brought it.
There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. Oh, more people came up and raised hands. Come on.
We run a tight ship! Alright, I don't know if you noticed during
We're trying to be professional!
We have a very professional take on the podcasting medium.
That's why you get a small child.
How better a professional could Aaron possibly be than screaming at a child? Actually, I don't know why I was saying that. There's no good answer to that question.
Look, I help children. I've got the tattoo to prove it.
Aaron does do a lot of good work for Extra Life. It's a streaming service type thing. Video games, tabletop gaming, charity raised for the kids. He got me to help out a bunch. I have a t-shirt now. I didn't bring it, but I do have a t-shirt.
So how do we want to do this?
Okay.
Do we want to reach in there and then grab a ticket?
I want to show a prize first. Oh yeah, let's get Vincent to draw. He's unbiased.
Yeah.
We have surprises.
All right, so let's get the prizes maybe up first, I think. Because I want to present some of these. Aaron, you pull yours out first.
All right. These are kind of just leftovers from other things, but I have Skull Smasher that goes great if you got the Bat Primal set and you need a spare body for the Megatron head that comes with it.
And something to fix it.
And, you should have about a gallon of future floor polish.
Floor polish. V-builds are this video series I heard about where they talk about floor polish all the time. It's pretty.
And then also a Skytread and Nightbeat.
Are they going to be together?
Sure.
Okay, they're together.
Unless you really don't want one when you draw for the other one.
I mean, who wants
the
Nightbeat?
Conjuncts Endura?
What?
The Conjuncts Endura? You said they were together.
Well, I mean, we're not trying to.
They're together, but they're not, together.
I didn't ask them if they're together. I just look at them. Their packaging's touching. Why else would it? So from Transmissions, we've got. We'll do these separately again. Yeah. We've got 2 copies of the Transmission cover Till All Are One #1. So
now limited edition since the series is canceled.
Yeah, it's true. They're more valuable now.
Number 12.
And then we've also got one more prize. This is based kind of on our whole tenet here at WTF and TFW, how we do things. So these guys had a great raffle at Chicago with some Masterpiece toys, including a Masterpiece Bumblebee. And then I went on to forget about the other Masterpiece toy.
Sorry, that was Andy Millman from Moonbase 2.
What's he said?
He says he's going to miss the panel.
Okay. Right on time.
I'm going to wait an hour and a half. And I'm going to wait an hour and a half, and then I'm going to send them a message. So I've been working on that a while. Anyway, you guys auctioned off, or raffled off. I always mix those words up. Raffled off a Masterpiece Bumblebee. So here,
G2.
G2 Masterpiece Bumblebee. Here at WTF and TFW, we don't knock people off. All right, we just do things bigger and heavier. So what I've got here is an original toy by Kubyan Bao. It's called KBB MP21 Plus. It's a lot bigger than that wimpy, stupid thing that they raffled off that looks like some stupid character. This looks a whole lot like Beetle Wasp, the classic character from the G1 cartoon Deformation King. So it's got die-cast and ratchet joints. I actually bought 2 of these, so I opened one up to make sure the figure wasn't complete garbage. This one's unopened, though. It still has the whatever the hell this plastic saran wrap on the front is supposed to be. I really don't understand, but it's a big die-cast thing of Masterpiece Bumblebee. It comes with some of...
That's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is heavy.
It comes with also upscaled knockoffs of the SXS add-on kit for Masterpiece Bumblebee, because, you know, something about honor among thieves or whatever. It comes with an Energon rod, but the packaging seems to be presenting it as though it's some kind of Monkey King battle staff. And all the paint will come off of it if you actually try to stuff it into his fist, but you can. Anyway, what we're going to do to raffle these, I think we're just going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just build anticipation.
Yeah. So, as always, please don't be upset if you don't get something. If you get something you don't want, like, I don't know, sort it out with everyone else after.
Yeah.
End of the day, you're getting something for free.
Yeah. Vincent, here, I'll take it over to Vincent.
Yep.
Here.
And if you're not here, you don't win.
No pressure, Vincent.
This is for everyone who's actually here.
All right, for the first one, this is 077. Everybody's looking and excited because it's all up the same number.
Sorry.
085.
Oh, no!
Hey, we got a winner!
Hey! Come on. We have to see to verify because she may have just waited to see that nobody else got excited. She was in the back. She was eyeballing.
Oh, yeah, I think it's over. That would mean she's such a fan of Skull Smasher, maybe she just deserves the toy anyway.
I'd say that's good. Is that good?
It's a match.
And then, yeah, like cross the frame and... All right, 4, the Conjunks Titan Masters, because that's what they are now.
077 0 4 1.
Hey, Bork! Go verify with him first.
I don't know if I can. He got so excited he left his shoes behind. That's a match.
I made their packaging touch more. All right, 4, the first of the 2 till all are ones.
077 073.
If you can get up here before I manage to pick a comic up, oh, never mind, I got it.
I'm going to throw in a sticker.
You can clap for him. Yeah, it's just yet another one of these comics. It's a match. I took your gag.
I'm going to throw in a couple stickers.
Bonus prize! Oh, for him?
Come back.
Oh, come back for a sec.
Come back. It's stickers. Don't you?
Don't put them on the comic though. That's going to devalue it.
Okay.
I asked the comics grading. So what are they called? Not the AFA.
Goober in the middle of the
CGC. CGC. Wait, why was Goober up here? What did I just miss?
Well, he just wanted to touch things. He wanted to feel important. 0771 07.
Woo! Me!
It's a match. I was making her worry for just a moment. Like, do I not know numbers? All right, now for the big one. Uh-oh.
Now for Beetle Wasp KBBMP21 Plus. Wow, you're strong. That thing's so heavy.
Die-cast construction, a lost art.
Now it can't be your number.
No.
Since you know part of this, you didn't realize that. Also, what's your blood type? Just in case we need like.
Did you just?
077078. You poor SOB. You lucky winner. You lucky winner. Good job.
Be careful, it's heavy.
It's a match.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
So that brings us to, we're just about the end here. What I'm thinking is maybe if anyone wants to ask us any questions, the Q&A mic is still there. We got about 10-ish minutes left. So if anyone does want to ask us any questions about podcasting, about life, about that cheese.
I mean, there's still some cheese here. If anybody really.
He actually likes it.
Are you serious?
What? He likes it.
Yeah.
And I left my Nerf at home.
Don't give it to him if he likes it.
Seriously, pass that shit. Give it.
Language.
They're children.
Later on.
Oh, it will be later.
Whoever comes up to ask a question gets to choose who gets the cheese.
Here we go. You don't want the thing, do you?
Alright, so you guys talked about how you guys got back into Transformers, but you didn't go into much detail about how you got into it in the first place. So can you guys each tell how you first discovered Transformers, maybe the first time you ever saw Transformer, and how you got into it from the very beginning?
Mine's super fast. My very first two toys at the same time were G1 Wreck-Gar and Leader 1, followed by G1 Ratchet. And the first movie I ever saw was like the 86 movie about 10 times on a bootleg, and another couple hundred times on a bootleg.
So it's just been your entire life, not
Yeah,
offs.
my mom says she thought they looked cool and wanted an excuse to buy one, and even though they were for ages whatever and up, she got one for her like infant. And then I happened.
You know, Wreck-Gar makes a great teething toy.
Actually, mine's still complete. I never lost any of that stuff. I even kept I lost the tires for a decade and then found them in a box, and I never felt better.
I guess with me, it's just, I was like 5 or 6 when the show came on. I was just the perfect age, and caught the show. And I think my first toy was, the Devastator gift set from a yard sale that my mom went to. So just been hooked ever since.
Yeah, mine is, I was born in '82, so it was that right time frame that was my Saturday morning cartoon. That's 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. Thanks. I was trying to nod so that you'd see the nodding.
Hi, Colin!
Hi, Colin. Colin says we have 5 minutes. So if you got questions, go ahead and line up and we'll run through the rest of this real quick. How did you get into it? Faster.
8 years old, 1984, the rest is history.
Woo!
Is this going to be We Were the Target demo? Is that going to be the answer?
The end of the line might be a different question, a different answer.
Yeah.
Just the G1 cartoon. It was awesome.
Yes.
The Beast Machine's Optimus Primal was given to me, I guess, from my cousin or something, and that was great.
Wow, you're young.
However, he was also the Target demo.
All right.
I find that all of you guys' podcasts are really well done.
Thank you.
I'll definitely be listening to you on my way back to America. I think the one thing that makes your podcast work so well is that you get a sense of camaraderie between all of you. It sounds like you guys have been friends for a very long time.
I hate these guys.
Yeah.
And it comes through when you're speaking to one another, or when you are. I especially laugh when it's clear that someone has said something that the others don't agree with, but the diplomacy of the friendship keeps things from going to what are you talking about? How did you guys first meet one another in order to decide to start a podcast together?
Well, me and Aaron have known each other as BotCon peeps since like '03.
Yeah.
And so Aaron was actually just naturally, from the fact that he's one of the people I've seen at the most BotCons since then, come 2008, he was a natural choice for me for WTF when we were selecting people to audition, because one of the original WTF tenants back before I was even in charge of it was like, we'll just have the BotCon bar experience, but as a podcast. And I was like, well, me and Aaron are the BotCon bar experience. Aaron better effing be in this effing thing. And so since then, he's put up with me really civilly saying all kinds of true things like helicopters aren't real.
Being back again.
Anyway, it's been a wonderful... Yeah, that's about it.
All right, with us, does anyone remember the Underbase podcast?
Yeah.
So Charles guested on an episode of the Underbase, and we both lived in Pittsburgh at the time. I no longer do. So I asked Amy from the Underbase to get us in touch with each other, and then I put out a post on Reddit saying, hey, does anyone want to do a podcast? And Daryl and Yoshi responded to that, and we just clicked right away from the first Skype call.
Yeah, I mean, it was really weird actually that we were all strangers, and like after a couple of your first couple of conversations, you're on your best behavior kind of to make sure.
I respect your belief in helicopters.
But after a few times recording and doing it regularly, we're like, okay, I guess we are all kind of on the same wavelength. Weirdly, so yeah.
Vincent, how did you get into podcasts?
Yes, I am not part of the podcast.
Well, you want to think the charity auction.
You're on a podcast right now.
Charity auctions.
You helped out the kids.
It's probably a better origin story, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. We were all drunk. Like, hey, we'll do record this. That'd be fine.
Was that Red Leaf?
That's how I started my podcast. Do you guys have any advice for getting the word out about a new podcast when you're just starting out, like trying to get it out there and bring in new viewers and stuff like that?
We cheated because we're hosted by a large website, so we don't actually have a good answer.
Well, I'll say I can say I've discovered some podcasts, and part of it's going to be consistency. You're going to want to still put stuff out there, even if right now it's you, your host, and your mom that listen to it. Just actually doing it and keeping doing it is going to be a big thing. It's something that Chris will talk about all the time, but I'm stealing his thunder there because that's what TFW is all about. The other ones I've discovered have been, through, like he was saying, going to Reddit. Find a community that's going to have similar interests, and if they've got a place that you can talk about it, you kind of talk about it some. Don't necessarily go, well, I do this show and I think it's great because my mom listens and she wouldn't lie to me. And and then the other thing is that was hard for me in the beginning was take feedback. Maybe throw out the worst of the noise. But if somebody says, hey, you go on too long about the color of every toy's feet, what's your problem? You'd be like, hey, maybe that's something I need to look at.
It's important!
Yeah, and really, when you join these communities, don't just, like you were saying, don't just plug your podcast right away. Become a part of the community so people know you, and then you can be like, oh, we talked about this on an episode of my podcast. And most places are okay if you link it as a part of the ongoing content of the thread or whatever. It's not just a blatant plug.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an instance of where I'm sitting on a subreddit and somebody that has no other post is just like, podcast episode 83 of cool thing, and then not even taking the time to write the body of what you're talking about. It's like, oh hey, another thing I'm going to ignore. But if it comes up as hey, no, there was we had a really good discussion about the implications of the color of this thing, and then boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, if the color of the feet's an important thing, that might be it.
I was actually a guest on Cool Thing episode 84 about the color of Transformers' feet.
I just want to jump in real quick about the Reddit stuff. I don't mention it ever on the podcast because it really doesn't matter, but I am the main mod on the Transformers subreddit, and we get a lot of requests to put in, this is my podcast, and I'll look at the person's history, and they've never posted, and they've been a person on Reddit for years, or all they've posted is their link to their podcast here.
So you're saying we can get some of that sweet Reddit junk?
No. But even transmissions was being posted and was flagged for not actually participating in any of the discussion.
So we each have our own accounts.
Exactly. So, and that was not even me doing anything. That's an automatic response of Reddit to do that. So if you're going to make an account for your podcast, with Reddit's fantastic, but be active, right? Because Reddit as a site will flag you and just say, stop, you can't do this, it's spam, kind of deal, right? So yeah, Reddit's fantastic. Use it and do what you need to do.
And I'll say one more thing is, if you can get guests who are like working in whatever topic you're talking about, guests will usually promote your show and say, hey, listen to this. I was on this show. I got an interview. And we found it really easy to talk to. I mean, we started with the IDW comic creators. We just they're all on Twitter.
We actually started with Proto Man. We don't talk about it much either.
The GD?
Yes.
But
episode 2.
Something Fig Jam, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so if you can get access to some of the people who are working on like the comics or the toys and things like that, and get them to talk for a little while, and they're usually happy to promote your show, and then that will usually bring in new listeners, and someone will stick around.
Thank you.
No worries. Consistency is huge. Just keep making. Like I say this about video stuff. If you want to make something, just do it, and then do it a whole bunch.
Eventually, it'll be good.
Yeah. We are at the end of our time, more or less. So I want to thank everyone. I said this actually at all my panels now. I want to thank everyone who actually sat down for this panel and joined us here. Certainly, it's the end of the show, and everyone's got places they could be, so the fact you decided to join us here, we really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys check out our actual podcast. We can assure you we're about at least 10% as lively on those actual shows. Better.
Thank you to Vincent for...
Yes.
Thank you, Vincent.
Could have bought coins, bought fame instead.
That's right. We literally thought of that at the last moment and drew the thing on the back of the card that I was using to auction with, and he bought it.
Actually, big ups to Daryl. Daryl basically single-handedly organized that part of this panel.
I have to throw that back because that actually was Jeremy's idea. I just implemented it.
I was joking, and he's like, "Okay, that's a great idea." And I turned around, and he's done it.
So thank you very much, Jeremy.
It turned out really good.
Vincent, why don't you plug something, like talk about yourself a little bit. get your stuff out there. This is your moment to shine.
Personal brand.
So I'm on TFW 2005 as Code Trivia, and I should post more of my customs. I have a custom Nautica, and I have a custom stakeout from Last Stand of Directors. I'm a really big fan of comic books, and I should post more of my stuff on the Radicons.
Cool. Is that Code Trivia as one word or 2 words?
One word, yes.
All right.
And it's also the same on Twitter. I actually do post some of my custom stuff on Twitter, on Code Trivia. Yeah.
So what do you think about your first podcasting experience?
This is wonderful. It's a dream come true, actually. Thank you very much.
Is it nearly as terrifying as you thought it would be?
Actually, no.
That's just going to be a drug. You're just going to be out there podcasting for $5.
One of us.
Legit, it's my belief that everyone on the internet should at some point be forced to host and edit one episode of a podcast.
You hear that, Daryl?
Shots fired. I edited the video.
You cut off the front and the back.
Also legit, I thought I was going to be the one slinging anything across the table, but transmissions guys handled it pretty well too. That's also why I put Aaron between them. Safety wall. Anyway, hope you guys had a good TFcon Toronto 2017. Sorry we didn't have a longer, listener Q&A bit, but hopefully we still had enough bouncy sound to make your time worthwhile. And just a quick question: who here is local? All right.
Does 2 hours away count as local?
No.
We're talking mega city rules here for Ontario. So if everything's actually, if Brampton and Hamilton were technically part of Toronto, you count as local.
10 minutes away.
All right. Well, all you pseudo locals, I don't need to wish you a good trip home.
Thanks.
Hope you die in a car fire.
But everyone who came from afar, thank you for coming on out to our lovely country and/or province. Anyone from weird provinces? Because I met some people from PEI.
I'm from Wisconsin.
That's a really weird province.
They have red cheese there.
Nova Scotia, hello! Because, I mean, everyone's always from BC and Alberta and Ontario and Quebec, and it's like, oh, cool, you, like, got on an easy flight. Congratulations. Taiwan? Thank you for coming out all this way.
That is a long walk.
Any other internationals out there, or are we all just North American, the rest of you? Yeah, well.
The guys from Wales up the back.
Sorry, from where?
Wales. Who the guys are?
Is that in Ireland?
It's next to. It's in between Ireland and England.
Okay, because I knew a Welsh guy from Ireland. He's like the Scottish guy I know from New Zealand. And you see, there's a period where I was friends with specifically a guy from Wales, a guy from Scotland, a guy from Ireland, and a guy from the UK, London area. And so all I'd do is I'd keep mixing up where they're from because it turns out that would get them all really upset.
Historically, yeah.
Yeah, that, a few hundred years ago that was murder.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop myself because now I'm getting into a thing.
We should say where we can.
Oh yeah, we also put things online. It turns out. Hey,
you need to go to online to your computer and download stuff to listen to the podcast.
But where?
So you can listen to Transmissions at www.transmissionspodcast.com. We are on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We are not on Zoom, so we lost that listener. But you should be able to get to us on most podcast apps.
And WTF at TFW is hosted on TFW2005.com. We have our own blog now, which is lovely, on my end at least. It's WTF.TFW2005.com. We are not yet on Google Play. I need to send Tony a message about that, because I feel like I talked to him about that a year ago and then forgot.
Yeah.
You can probably submit that yourself.
I don't know. He does everything technical. I just talk and edit. Wait, I do something technical. Son of a... I said doo-doo. And I also do some stuff on Vangelist.ca. The podcast goes up there too. I do some YouTube stuff on youtube.com/EvangelistCentral or Evangelist Reviews on YouTube. But that's all just me. None of these. Well, actually, there's going to be probably some of this on there. So I'm going to monetize them. One day that's going to be a cool insult. Nowadays, everyone just goes like, "Sorry, what?"
Get those sweet, sweet YouTube dimes.
Yeah. I'm going to turn all your voices into stacks of dimes. I'm going to buy a Coke Zero on your blood. Those are all IOUs.
And that is when it ends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Right. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll be up here packing up.
If you want stickers, come get them.
Thank you.
No, she's,
Thank you.
She's giving away my things.
You want
Thank
stickers?
you.
You want a Zero Complete sticker too?
She's very good about giving away things I